Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for joining me for another Puzzle and Dragons video. I am Alpha, and today, as part of the Rank 500 celebration, we're going to be hopping into a box tour. I'm going to try and look at the monster box in a few different ways to give you some different perspectives on how I started out, how I built it, what cards I value the most, and whatever else. Let's see what we have here. So, I wanted to start off chronologically, and you kind of see. Oh, actually, it's kind of interesting to see. I didn't even know, but I just 2 days ago hit 500 days. So I'm at 502 days right now, and at rank 502 as well. So that kind of gives you an idea of how fast I progressed. I was definitely ahead of that. Even going back a few months ago, I was in the high 400s for a while, and I slowed down any kind of grinding. I've just done more like special dungeons and stuff like that. I'm not really grinding on this account anymore. I'm not really grinding at all. I don't really grind on the JP account, but anyways. So I'm at rank 502 at day 502. So this is how I started off. I had Divinagon, who was pretty awesome. He was never awesome. I don't know why. I didn't know anything about this game when I started. I didn't know about the Puzzle and Dragon forums. I didn't know about the Puzzle and Dragons Facebook group or the subreddit. Or there was no way for me to understand what was good or bad in this game. I didn't understand how to make combos properly. I started off pretty horribly. And you could see I had some decent rolls at the beginning. I just didn't know what was going on, how to do anything. I mean, you could see I got some decent fire cards with Chiyomi, Zhao Zhao, and Erd. Pretty much right off the bat. That's a Chibi Guan Yu, who I keep for funny reasons. I don't know. I have my I Love Pad Bear and I Love Devi Bear. Never put anything into them, but they just seem nice enough to keep. But I got cards that eventually became good. Awoken Freyja. I mean, Chiyomi's good in her own right. I don't really use her anymore. Zhao Zhao, of course. And you gotta picture all these guys in their first forms, with no awakenings or anything. So for quite a while, Zhao Zhao was my leader. And then I'd have Apocalypse as my leader because he would just make like this super tank team. And I mean, like I said, I didn't understand a lot. I think I was like Apocalypse was a leader with, the Holy Dragon and Divinagon as subs. Like it was just really crappy. Anyways, that's kind of how I got started. You could see kind of the order, some of the rolls I got, and I got some decent rolls. I mean, at first, I didn't even know what Godfest was, so whenever I'd get 5 stones, I'd pull the Rem, if you believe it. That's probably why I ended up with, like Red Riding Hood and well, who am I kidding? I only pull in the Godfest now and I still get them. But that's kind of how things got going for me. I had 2 Apocalypse before too long. I still haven't really maxed either of them out quite yet, but I definitely will because I believe there's a new Ultimate Evolution coming. Anyways, that's enough on chronological. There's nothing too interesting there. If we look at the cards I have Hypermax, I've got just over 4 rows of Hypermax cards. You can see kind of where I've been putting my pluses, and that's, Zheng Mei has a pretty plussed out team. Shiva Dragon actually does not, because I use that team for farming, and there's not really a need to have a Hypermax team for that. Easy descends and farming. Although I'm kind of getting off of that just because it's not. Just to do something different. After 500 days, doing something that's not Shiva Dragon is also interesting. I've got a bunch of dark cards maxed out, and that allows me to run pretty much just swapping in and out for a Yomi Dragon team, a Awoken Pandora team, and a Awoken Lucifer team. So I'm able to kind of swap those guys in and out and have pretty good teams as a result. And then finally, you can see I have a team built up for Awoken Sakuya, which was a light-dark hybrid team, and a team built up for Raw Dragon. So those are kind of like my Hypermax based teams that I've built over 502 days. And I'm obviously trying to build up Sephiroth right now, who is awesome. And I might even try and give him like maybe another skill delay resist and some attacks or something, and just have him go over the top with his attack, because he's just a beast. And it's a fun team to play as well. And then I just got UU. And again, short on pluses at the moment. I'll have to actually do some plus grinding to try and get this team up to par, but I do intend to try and use it because, again, it's a different mechanic. I always wanted a Krishna back in the day when he was the first. I don't know if he was the first, but he was the fire lead that was, the multiple orb matches of fire, just like Sarasvati and what's his face, Vishnu. So I was interested in playing that sideline. I've still never pulled a Krishna. I just had good fire cards at the time. That's why I wanted Krishna. I did get a Sarasvati, but my water box kind of sucked. Alright, what about if we sort by monster points, get through all the Evo mats? Okay, so here we go. Here's some of the goods here. And I just sold a few things to try and get my UU, but nothing of too much consequence. So this is kind of what I got. I got a decent amount of 6 stars, 2 Eshamali, a Kana, Dark Kali, Ilm, Blue Sonia, 2 Typhon, and a Red Odin. That's about it. I've sold, I did sell a Green Sonia, a Dupe Ilm. That might be it for 6-star sales, I have to say. I think that's it. Haven't gotten too many, and I've pulled quite a few times on that REM machine. Now going down to the 5 stars and some of the gold collabs. I have the New Year Okami, who I still haven't really put anything into. She's not P'd, she's not leveled, she's not even awoken. Puzzles and coffee. I've got both of my gaddies are max skilled. Like, his skill up is just always around, and I was lucky enough to get him max skilled. So my goal now is to max level this one at some point so I can inherit his skill if desired. And my Erd is max skilled here, and I'm contemplating just inheriting Erd onto UU, or I don't know, another place where her active would be very valuable. But she is hypermax, so what I would really like to do is get this one skilled up, my second Erd, but I really, her skill up doesn't come around as often as it used to, and then I just have horrible luck skilling her up for some reason. Let's see, other Godfest exclusives we've got. Got Australia's all maxed out. We've got 2 Fenrir maxed out. At some point, I will max this guy, and I should be able to max skill him without too much more effort. And then I'd be able to inherit his skill if desired. It would probably be good on a Zhang Mei team somewhere. Satsuki currently has Light Kali skill inherited. I was using that on a Sephiroth team, and still do at some point. And again, I'm doing the same thing here where I have my Hypermax Kali, the one that currently has the skill granted, which is a fully Ultimate Evo'd Kali. Then I have one that is not Ultimate Evo'd, but is at 6 stars. So once I get her max leveled, I'll throw a few more Tamadras in, and then if I could just get her up 2 more levels, I could inherit the skill. Same thing with this Erd. She's already at 6 stars, so I don't need to put her to the Ultimate Evolution and spend more resources if I'm just going to build her up for a skill inheritance. I did pull a Lightning, who I haven't put any P's into, but I very well may, because her active skill is fantastic. She's nice as a lead, but she is kind of outshone by Awoken DQ XQ at this point, since you can kind of get the same multiplier, more or less, but you could run more of a row-based team, and the active skill is just easier, or I'm sorry, the leader skill is easier to proc. Let's see, Sephiroth. I've got a Rukia, who was definitely my water lead for a while, and now of course you will take that place. So I think Rukia, I may develop Newt, who is a great addition to a UU team, and inherit Rukia's skill. They both create a left column of water orbs, and Rukia adds a 1 skill haste. But it would essentially make them give them skill delays. You know, when you inherit someone, they go past the initial skill count. So if, just for a quick aside, if Rukia is at a 7-turn cooldown, but I put, let's say, just easy, let's say I put Newt on top of her, who's at a 4-turn cooldown at max. So at 11 turns, let's just say I have 11 skill boosts on the team. She will have Newt's skill up right on turn 1, and then if we get hit with a skill delay, she'll go back from 11 turns up and ready to, let's say, 9 turns up and ready. She'll still have her own skill up because that is ready at 7. So you're able to kind of bypass the skill active skill threshold, I guess, and then kind of rewind a bit when you get hit with the skill cooldown and still have it up. So it's kind of neat. Let's see, we've got Christmas Haku, Ichigo, and now we're getting into more just the standard gold realms. So we could kind of get off of that. You can see Awoken Pandora, Awoken Hermes, Awoken Apollo, Awoken DQXQ, like I said, Ultimate Evo Pandora, Ultimate Evo Sun Wukong, and these are all like pretty much maxed out. You can see I don't really put pluses into anyone, but I do spend quite a bit of time trying to max skill them. I think having max skilled cards makes all the difference. So if you guys don't currently invest time doing that, I would highly recommend doing so. I do have 3 Denebula. At some point, I'm pretty positive I could put together a sick Denebula based team if I were to skill her up, or skill them all up, because she creates a 36x attack for herself with TPA, I believe. So I have 3 of them, plus an almost max skilled guy now, and a max skilled whoever the other farmable red jammer guy is. We're gonna see him in a second. Anyways, why don't we do it? Let's go to favorite, and we'll kind of. I'll try and go quickly here because this could take a while, and I don't want the video to be too long. We're already at 13 minutes. So, all right, here's the firebox, and it's pretty well developed. I have a pretty decent amount of good REM cards, Godfest exclusives, a few good collab cards. So, let's see. I've got 2 Zhao Zhao, who I guess one will probably become Awoken Zhao Zhao when he comes out, which is kind of a shame because I have the max skilled already, but I'm sure, I believe Awoken Zhao Zhao is just like Awoken Liu Bei, being that he's like a giant, boost HP, and he could be like a farm lead. Let's see, I have Dupe Uriel, who's still, the second one's still not max skilled, but I'm working on it. He is very stubborn. Red Odin, who I just recently pulled, so he's not too developed. Set, we've got Freyr, who's maxed out. New Year's Horus, who's maxed out. I know Uzume, who does not have max skill. I would like to max skill her, though, because her active is pretty useful as a bind clearer that boosts recovery. Someone was saying that would be actually a very nice skill to inherit on a UU team, since you don't have that recovery boost. It is pretty useful to have it into an active skill for 4 turns, plus you get the bind clear there. Shiva, again, I never max skilled him because I don't think his skill is too great and I didn't want to spend the P's. Hinokagu Tsuchi, who recently was able to go down 1 more on his skill, and I've never done that yet. And what else? I've got a non-Awoken Freyr here, who's pretty decent actually. 1.5 fire attack for 3 turns with a skill haste. If I could get a max skilled, if you wanted to like go over the top with Shiva Dragon damage or whatever, I don't know. Same thing with a non-awoken Shiva here. At some point, to get him fully max skilled, and this is something where I'll do it over the next 100 days, or if not more. Whenever the skill up dungeons are around, I'll collect the mats, and it's just kind of a passive thing. I'm not hunting these down. Tsubaki, who is headed for an ultimate Evo, along with Sumire and Kaide. Valen, who I wish he'd get some skill ups. I think I might even put some P's into him. I have 2 Valen, and he is useful as a skill inherit just because is it 4 turns of half damage? Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's half damage, 50% damage reduction for 4 turns on a 6-turn cooldown. So only 2 turns you're taking full damage. It's pretty darn good. That's about it for notable things in my firebox. Oh, that's the guy there. Hephaestus, the other jammer fire card that I had referred to. Alright, let's cruise right along. We got a few other odds and ends down here that, are not developed. An extra Horus and a whole bunch of different forms of Echidna, all that kind of stuff. Okay, moving on to the water box here, we have UU, the purchase I just got, and some of the notable cards here: Andromeda, Blue Sonia, Rukia, Woken Hermes, Yumisachi Yamasachi. I think they just got boosted again, but they're still not like super relevant. I guess maybe they're good as orb changers, like to inherit, but they get rid of your heal orb, so it's not too useful. Iduna and Iduna, they're maxed out. And I spent Bud Peas in places where, if I could go back, I might change. Like, for instance, Hermes is not fully skilled, which I definitely want to get him there. I just put the Rainbow Resist on him yesterday. Got Sarasvati, who's, again, very close to max skilled. Karen, max skilled there. And my second one is not, but if I ever work her up, I could use her as a skill inherit, since I don't know. You don't really system the Chinese anymore. Isis, Awoken Isis, and I do have another one who would be good to, again, build up and use as, it might even be useful to have them both built up and, put different skills on them. Sun Chuan and Alresha, Sumire, guys that can be maybe situationally useful at some point, I'm thinking, like Chester here. Like if I wanted to run a Lakshmi team, maybe makes a bunch of hearts, 3 skill-bind resist. Mori Motonari, I'm definitely going to get this guy finished up and then inherit his skill. Extremely useful. And after that, let's see, there's the dupe Isis. We've got the Pad Academy Sasuke. Ishtola from Final Fantasy, yeah. And that's about it for water. Dupe Andromeda, that'll get developed at some point. A Christmas Ars Paulina. And let's see, we'll be right back for Woodbox. Okay, we're back. I don't know if you guys could hear, but Thor was crying just a bit for his breakfast, and crying quickly becomes quite a bit of barking, so decided to take care of that. Okay, so we're moving on to the wood box, the often neglected and forgotten wood element now. The box, it's for what's available for wood, it is pretty decent. I've got a Max Perseus. I just finished maxing out Michael, and I've got a dupe that is not even max leveled, max awoken, or max skilled. I have Valkyrie Elise, who is a pretty rare pull. I have her maxed as well. Awoken Astaroth, that's a pretty recent addition. I guess because there's just not too many, I haven't made a wood-based MP purchase. I mean, Odin Dragon isn't even really a thing, and Ragnarok, I think it's Ragnarok Dragon was the name of him, was also, I mean, I guess I was lucky enough to have two Dark Kali style cards, and Dark Kali and Christmas Kali, so I never did need to purchase that card. And I guess I have a bunch of wood peas, a bunch of wood snow globes, all that stuff. I end up using them on off-color monsters, but it's just kind of how wood is right now. I'm sure there'll be another great lead that comes out for wood sometime soon. We've got Freyja and for Dandy, Osiris. Hey, he's not max skilled. For some reason I thought he was. Artemis, Vishnu, who is max skilled, Awoken Mei, Awoken Bastet, Awoken Parvati, and like a card like this card, pretty good card, good active skill. Like even like something like this, if I were to inherit onto a team like a Zhang Mei team that had an Erd inherit and change the water into heal, you guarantee the activation. But I'm not really playing wood. It's not really worth me to invest into right now. Liu Bei, all maxed out. Green Odin, almost maxed out there. Crazy old Green Odin. So one I guess style that is interesting to me is this kind of like wood jammer style, because I do have Kasuki Urahara, who makes a row with jammers. Not quite max skilled, but I could easily throw wood peas on if I want to. And then I also have Aljetti, who has her skill up dungeon available right now, actually. It's just not at 3x skill up, so I'm not going to feed anything right now. I've got this guy who's max skilled, but he's going to be Awoken Liu Bei when he reaches North America. And that's about it. There's not too much exciting going on. I've got my Christmas Tengu. My real Tengu got fed as part of someone's ultimate evolution or awoken form or something. So, I've got a Australis that's maxed out. At some point, I'll get this guy maxed out because I do have the guilty pleasure of enjoying running Fenrir at some point. I mess around with him sometimes. If you're on my friends list, you might see him pop up every once in a while. So if we get to the light box, we start off with some of those top cards. Like, again, this, totally undeveloped at this point, the Cloud and Fenrir. Without having a good system to run, it's not like the strongest team. We've got Raw Dragon, Pentamax, and Lightning. You already saw her. Sun Wukong, New Year's Okami. Baal is almost max skilled. Raphael, Zeus and Hera, Awoken DQ XQ, Awoken Apollo, Uria, Awoken Thor, Sakuya, Hathor, who I wish would be a little more. I mean, she is a very viable lead, actually. People have beaten Arena with her and stuff, but it's not a super fun style as a color match lead for whatever reason. Maybe just because it has a little less time extends than I'm used to. I'm so spoiled with those. Izanagi, who's due for a buff thanks to Yama P random rem pulls. We have Ult Apollo, Kana, who's all maxed out. So you can see I've got a bunch of max cards. They're just not 297. They're not hyper maxed. Elm, again, maxed out. Venus, not maxed out, although now her skill material is available, so I'll slowly get her maxed out, unless I find a very useful reason to equip her active skill as a skill inheritance. Then I would just, put some Shine P on her. I've got 3 Light Kali right now, 2 DQ, which I don't know. Because I have Awoken DQ XQ, I have 2 DQ, and I might even have another one somewhere, possibly. So this guy was like the all-star on my team for quite a while when I was running Light Kali as a lead. He transfers away the orb that you don't want from her, which is wood. I have Indra in his god form, and then I know Awoken Indra is on the way, and I have a dupe Indra somewhere that will become the Awoken form. So I'm able to run both versions, which is cool. Supergirl, for some reason, sits all the way down here in the box. She's pretty awesome, actually. She's kind of fun. I made a few videos running her. One of my proud achievements, Toyama Taste Himi Udon, which is, I think this dungeon is a lot easier to run now for some reason. Like it's available as a coin dungeon or so. I forget. For whatever reason, you could get the materials to make that a lot easier than it used to be. Back in the day when I did it, Wee Jazz, who used to be a pretty cool guy, he recently got a skill boost. He's cool because he has his he's unbindable, unbindable, and he has a bind clear, and his active skill is a delay with a bind clear built in because he makes a row of hearts. So he was useful back in the day. Haven't touched him in quite a while. Let's see. That's a card that's going to get developed sometime soon. Pulled not too long ago, and I just haven't really put anything into it. And again, like cards like, actually that's almost max skilled, Ars Nova. Ariel could be useful maybe, I don't know. There's the other Indra, another Izanagi. We have the Pad Academy Izanami. I'm sorry, not Pad Academy, June Bride Izanami. And I guess that about does it. I do use this guy for speed runs, like button push farming, not speed runs, I guess you would say. Farming Thomas, stuff like that, so I just button push through it. So it used to be that Rainbow Mask would always be on Solar Laser. So when I finally got this guy to drop it's one of the Batman dungeons. I think just the original Batman dungeon, not the Batman Superman or whatever else, has come out. Then I was able to max skill him just because I had so many darn Rainbow Masks. And last but not least, we get to the Dark box, where I have some pretty decently developed cards. I'm pretty happy with my Dark box at this point in time. It used to be pretty lacking, but it's kind of caught up. So, we have Yomi Dragon, Sephiroth, and I already showed we have Typhon maxed out and Ichigo maxed out. Pandora, Dark Izanami, who's a fantastic card when you're starting off. And, I mean, even in late game, she definitely has a place on many teams. Dark Kali, I've got a maxed out Zayrog. Zuo is not maxed out. I'd really like to have him maxed out, actually. He's pretty useful on a Awoken Pandora team. We've got 2 maxed out Eshamalis, one being hyper maxed. It was such a pain to skill her up at first. Then her skill started rotating to all these easily obtainable mats. I forgot what it was. The Monday dungeon, whatever those things are called. Little dark guys lifting weights, Got Awoken Lucifer. Never finished even leveling Awoken Loki. All my dark teams don't really need extra burst, so I haven't really used him. Awoken Yomi is pretty awesome. Okuninushi, who's almost max skilled. I might just throw some bad piece on him at some point because he's so useful on so many teams. I do have an Awoken Anubis, which was a recent addition. And let's see, there's my Fenrir's. And this guy's actually, he could be very useful to try to put on a Yomi Dragon Arena 1 speed team. He's got these built-in dark damage, which, if you don't know, do a lot more damage reduction than, the latent ones, of course. and he also has a gravity, so it makes getting by the damage threshold on Kali a lot easier, especially if you get Dark Kali. Let's see, a few others I've got here. Hamal, and again, not max skilled, not really too developed. There's our Christmas Haku. Still never pulled a real Haku. Halloween Vampire, he's pretty cool. I've got two Akechi, one developed. Again, still not. I actually fed this guy many times, and he just hates skilling up. He absolutely hates it. I've never gotten one skill up on that stubborn son of a bitch. A dupe Sephiroth, who there's really no reason to have one, but he looks cool, and I would just feel bad selling him because he's so rare. So he gets a spot in the box. And then, again, multiple versions of Lilith sitting around. We got a Pandora that I will probably try to max out and then max skill for skill inheritance purposes. Shantoto, I believe, gets 4 rows, although I think that's all that she gets. And there's a few other cards that would have been nice to develop when they're around, but it didn't quite work out. Like Kenpachi over here, enhance orbs and with a delay at a decent low cooldown. There's another Lilith and another Satsuki, undeveloped. There's the other Akechi, undeveloped. I've got Vritra waiting for his awoken form to finally come, and I'll put a little resources into him. Multiple forms of Sleeping Beauty, because why not? More because they just follow me everywhere, so I know if I get rid of them that they will just reappear. Lu Bu, who is just constantly outshine at this point, outshone, whatever. Some more Lilith because I don't know. And I mean, that's about it, guys. That is quite a few monsters there. It's a decently long video. And I mean, I glazed over it. There's so much more that is in there that I just didn't want to spend time on. But I tried to hit the highlights. Definitely, if you saw something interesting in there that you think should be developed, if you saw something that you think should have an active spot on a team and is being neglected, let me know in the comment section down below. You can see I've got almost 100 free box space, which is the happiest thing ever because farming is so much easier. And like I said, I recently sold some stuff for UU, and since I haven't been pulling the REM as much, my box isn't bloating up. So I wanted to do that. That's pretty awesome. And other than that, I mean, I keep a whole bunch of every map. One thing you might have noticed, I'll just touch on this real quick, is that if you look at here, like let's say Heimdallr. I've got 2 of him. Light Izanami, 2 of her. Hera Solo, 2 of her. Light Zhang, 2 of him. Sonya Grant, 2. Kind of seen a pattern there. So basically, I try to keep 2 of every descend drop so that I'm able to, whenever one of them pops up as an Evo material for an upcoming card, since we're, have everything on delay from the Japanese server, we know what the Evo materials will be. Now, granted, sometimes they come out in their own descends right before a card debuts, and you can't really plan ahead. But for the most part, you're able to, develop and evolve anyone that is going to be coming out so that you can have all the materials ready for new cards. So I try and do that. And then as far as materials, there's some stuff I'll just hoard, like peas and jewels and stupid fruit, which I never get the ones I want. And other than that, I've been trying to. I used to keep 5 of every type if I could, and I've actually dialed it back to 4. So I would probably, I'd sell one of these, and I just find that that's enough. These guys I use for cheese S ranks with Erd, which, I mean, if you just search on my channel like how to S rank, you'll see the video I made for that. But I mean, you could see, I mean, this is stuff I'm waiting for skill up. But other than that, there's all my wood peas, and I have so many more in the box. You know, I try and keep like 4 of each type of Evo material, aside from the ones that go into skill rotation, because I'll just wait for those, you know, to rotate to something that is useful for me. So that way, whenever something is needed, I typically have the Evo materials, and I'll typically have the Descend boss that is to be evolved, so I can try and get the, you know, the new evolutions right when they come out. And that's kind of how I keep the box progressing, I guess. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching all this, and I'm still going to try and come up with some more kind of interesting and different content, stuff that I've never done on the channel before, as part of the Rank 500 ongoing celebration. Woohoo! So I hope you enjoyed this. You know, if you did, please leave a like. Definitely let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And I'm Alpha, and you'll see me next time.